I was glad I waited yesterday to see the bumper, because I definitely was buzzing after watching the horse win the bumper yesterday. I'm in my early 70s now, and I haven't seen any better bumper horse than I saw yesterday win the bumper. I was standing at the line ready to go across the track, and if Willie Mullins had decided that somebody had run away with the winning post around the corner, he could have gone another 2 furlongs. He might have won. He went to the line yesterday like an absolute train, reminding me of Carville's Hill when I saw him win a bumper, or the great horses, or even Joseph's dad's horse when Galileo won. He was a 2-year-old. You saw something special, and he was definitely something special.
It takes quite something for you to reach that deep into your treasure trove of superlatives and say, this is one of the best I've seen. Yeah, definitely. And I mean, unlike a lot of horses, like there's the old saying, you breed the best to the best and hope for the best. He's by a great stallion in Walk in the Park. He's out of a terrific mare in Qui Vega. And usually that doesn't work, but it has worked here in spades. Do we owe it to ourselves to look after ourselves better, Ted, do you think? Yeah,
I don't now personally think that I have no problem with horses carrying plenty of weight. And the jumping game, when I was growing up, they had 12.7 and 12.10. Arkle carried 12.10 in the Massey Ferguson and 12.7. I rode horses in races that carried 13 stone and 13.7. But there was always been a problem. I mean, Lester Piggott always had a problem. I mean, Lester Piggott wasn't light. He's a tall man. Brian Taylor, the late Brian Taylor, was a big man. Like, horses, people, this is not new. This has always gone on. We're a bit more conscious of the fact that people are bigger, but not everybody was born like Sir Gordon Richards and Willie Carson, well able to do light weights. And that time, when you were tall, people said, oh, he won't make a jockey, he's too big. And people accepted it. Like, it's not something that happened in the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
It has always been there. We're a little bit more conscious of it because people are more conscious of people's health. And when people are starving themselves or doing without food, and it might affect them mentally. And that's what happens. A lot of fellas over the years, you can look at the sad stories of all the fellas that top themselves. And there's a list of them. You know, and that comes from wasting and hardship and one thing and the other. I think that's the point we have to look into more than anything else. In all aspects of life, suicide is a word that we don't want to mention. It has happened, but we have to look after our lads here, and whatever it might do to help them mentally better, I think is most important.
So much to the sport, Ted, isn't there, that is still to be discovered by a wider audience, really. Yeah,
and a young man like Aidan, or Joseph there, Aidan, I think, excuse me, was the first person. Everybody knows Aidan as Aidan. He's not Mr. O'Brien to anybody. I think that was the first breakdown. I mean, when I was a kid growing up, it was Mr. Prendergast or Mr. O'Brien or Mr. Rocks. Like, and the people say, oh, if you don't respect him, but everyone respects Aidan. But everyone calls Aidan Aidan. The lads in the yard call him Aidan. The lads in the street, fellas go up, can I get a picture with you there, Aidan? And he's brought that into Joseph as well, to bring everybody in. They feel comfortable. You always feel comfortable in Aidan's company. You feel comfortable in Joseph's company. That's the where they were reared up. And Donegal as well. It's that thing. People are more personable, and people in racing like to think that, to come in. Nobody's aloof, standing like sort of looking, can I approach him or can I not? You know, as you well know from media and everything else, you have to bring everybody with you. And in this young man, we have a young man, and there's loads more young fellas. Gordon is very affable as well, and the younger generation, and they're not sort of aloof. And I think people in racing gather around that, and they enjoy being in their company.
How many races have there been over 6 years of the Dublin Racing Festival, and how many have Willie Mullins won?
Well, since 2018, he came in yesterday having 23 winners of the 60 races run.
I mean, that's ridiculous, isn't it?
I think something of like 14 of them were at Grade 1 level, and then of course he brings off a 4-timer yesterday, 3 of them at Grade 1 level, all for different owners. And that's the beauty of Willie. People are saying, oh, his dominance and this and that, but they're all in different colours. Many of them were different jockeys, and they're completely different profile horses.
So he's one of these people, he always seems to be kind of slightly reinventing, Ted. So he's never resting on the laurels, as Jane's saying. He's always trying to work out ways of getting new owners, getting new investment into the yard, building more gallops, doing more. You can never rest on the job. No, he's never rested. And he has a great system. I mean, he's got good people buying horses from in France, spotters and one thing and another, Harold Kirk, and different people based on the ground all over. And he's sort of
And Willie is not a set type of horse. You look at Willie horses walking around the ring, you couldn't say, oh, that's a Willie Mullins horse. Like you used to say, oh, that's a Tom Draper horse. They get him. Qui Vega was 15 hands or 15-1. Her son is 16-3. You know, they're all different makes and shapes. Willie Boy's a racehorse, and he's not set anything. He's just unique. That's what he is now. He is unique. Yeah, I have never met anybody quite like Willie. You know, he's just unique. He can spot things and do things. I've often seen him arrive at the Curragh in the morning. He'd bring up horses to work there, maybe 2 or 3 box loads of them, and they'd all get down. He'd have a plan. And for some reason, he'd cop one horse coming off the box, and he'd say, just go for a walk with him. Now, he's bringing up bottom from Close Sutton up to the Curragh to work. And whatever he had seen as he walking around, he'd say, just go for a walk with him. You know, he's unique. He's a one-off Willie Mullins. You won't get another Willie Mullins for a long time.
Triumph Hurdle horses, as you well know, having trained the winner of the Triumph Hurdle, can come in all sorts of different packages.
Yeah, but you need a fairly high-quality horse. I mean, it's a good race. I hear people giving out about the Triumph Hurdle. It's one of the best races at Cheltenham, has one of the best records of producing good horses, one after the other. I mean, that horse raced 102 on the flat. I mean, Tiger Roll won, and he went on and won 2 nationals. Comanche Court won, he won an English national, an Irish national, second in the Gold Cup. Loads of good horses win the Triumph Hurdle. If you look back to the novice hurdles, the Triumph Hurdle has produced more good horses than any race. And fellas say, oh, it's only for ex-flat horses. Rubbish. And I think that's a very good horse as well, too. I think Gordon's, too, are very good. I think the Irish should be 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. Or 7th or 8th. I think there might be an English horse in the first 10.
Well, they must know more than Eddie O'Leary, because in his post-race interview he was telling us that he tried to persuade Gordon Elliott to run him in the handicap today and claim 7 off his back. So there you go.
That's why Eddie O'Leary is a bloodstock agent,
and not a trainer.
You know, and that's and he's very good at riding him as well, even though he never rode a horse. You know what I mean? But I mean, that's why Gordon Elliott is what he is. He should leave the buying him to Eddie and the training him to Gordon and keep it apart. I couldn't get over. I saw this horse one day in Thurles with Lisa. I thought he was a dirty, rotten mongrel, tell you the truth, of a horse. I saw him below in Thurles one day, and he wanted to do anything but race. You know, he ran off the track, and I said, but Gordon has sorted him out, and he's come back there. He was good at Navan in a pretty ordinary race, and he's found 20 pounds, a 157 horse there. Do you know?
Can you take him seriously as a Gold Cup horse now?
No.
Why not?
Because
do you still think he's a dirty, rotten mongrel? Or?
I don't think he's a dirty, rotten mongrel.
But you can't get it out of your head, can you?
I can't get it out of my head when I see a horse doing that. I couldn't see him. I could be wrong. I mean, when I was a kid growing up, I thought you needed Arkle or Flying Bull to win a Gold Cup. But Gold Cup has been won by some hairy old horses over the years that you thought would never win a Gold Cup. But they were good horses on the day, and they won Gold Cups. I was living in Cuckoo Land. I thought, you had to have a special horse to win a Gold Cup. You do, but you could be lucky enough to fall across a moderate Gold Cup too. We've seen some old horses win Gold Cups there. You'd say, how in the name of God did they ever win a Gold Cup? But they won it.
Will Britain get one in the first 10 in the Gold Cup?
The first 10, they will, because there won't be 10 Irish horses in the Gold Cup.
That's the only
reason. One in the first 10. They will. They have a few horses there that run. I think Nick Skelton's horse is a good horse.
Protector.
Dan Skelton's, yeah. I'd say he's a good horse. I'd say he'll run a big race.
You like him as well, don't you?
Yeah, I was impressed with him in the Manny Cloud.
He's a good horse. He won't be far away. After that, sure, I mean, you yourself now, looking at him, you couldn't name me another one outside of him that you'd be worried about, you know. I thought Venetia's horse that won yesterday is a very good horse as well, too. A horse that won the Dipper or whatever.
The Scilly Isles?
Yeah.
L'Imprese. He might be next year's Gold Cup horse.
Yeah, he's a very good horse as well, too. You have a couple of horses, you'll have a couple of winners. You won't have too many now, but you'll have a couple.
Yeah, you've got to be a little bit bananas, though, haven't you, Ted? Do you not think?
I don't think so. I think that's the wrong description of any jockey to say he's a bit bananas, because I mean
it in the nicest possible way.
Yeah, but even the nicest possible way, it's not a nice thing to be called bananas. Like Tony McCoy, Richard Dunwoody, they were two icons of the modern time now, and they were great jockeys, great hunger. Their nerve never went. Davy's nerve is as good today as it was 20 years ago. I think it's the nerve. A jockey is hungry is one thing, but the nerve. Davy's not a bit afraid. You can watch Davy ride down to a fence there, and it's the same as he was 20 years ago. He doesn't move. He doesn't pull him back. He sits in there as tight as you like. I mean, he's a great jockey. He's one of the great jockeys of our era or any era. Davy be right up there with the tops of any era. As I said to you, Richard Dunwoody to me was an icon. A.P. McCoy, another one, and then you had the lads that Noel just mentioned there, Paul and Ruby and Barry. They had 3 great jockeys together as well too. And Davy is right in there in the mix with all them.
People generally are very happy when this man trains a big race winner. Ted, why do you think that is?
I don't know really why, because he's not really that nice a fella at all.
It's a great front though, isn't it, to be fair?
He's a good actor, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great front. Yeah, sure, he's like, everyone knows him. He's there a long time now. I mean, he's there a long time and he's popular, easy to talk to. As I said earlier on, he's one of those approachable sort of fellas that you can go up and talk to. He's very much involved in the GA in Meath as well too. He's local, popular. Yeah, he's a fellow farmer's son, very successful trainer. Good family, well liked. You know, there's no reason not to like him. He's the only reason maybe not to like him.
You guys have been friends for years, haven't you? Good friends.
I know him for years. I think I even stopped the horse from one day.
Can you remember when you first met Ted Walsh? Has he changed much since?
I remember him riding that horse. Yes, I do.
You'll get us taken off the air.
Yeah.